So I walked back to my house, and as soon as I got to that corner, I took off because I ain't know what he was gonna do. I didn't know if he was gonna hit me with a crowbar. Maybe he thought I was lying. I didn't know if he thought maybe you got something on you. Let me take you. So I took off once I got around the corner. True story. What's up, y'all? So, look, let me just go ahead and keep it short with you. Did you know that as of 2024, the United States has a literacy problem? 21% of adults cannot read, and 54% of them have been recorded and it has been documented read below a sixth grade level. That is a catastrophe. But that's where I step in. Now, I'm not going to teach the grown folks how to read and write. However, PSA, the Ghostwriting Solution, has now a new package. It's called the Literacy Liftoff, and it caters to 9th through 12th graders who struggle with reading, writing, and comprehension. This new tutoring service will offer vocabulary skills, teaching students how to literally write from the bottom, literally teaching them how to do an introduction paragraph, how to do a hook, how to do a conclusion, how to add a little razzle dazzle, and how to add their own personal touch to it. Okay. Now, you know what you're saying. Well, Izzy, that's what they go to school for. Absolutely. But as an ex-teacher, the teachers just don't have time. So this program has 3 different packages from 3 different sets of hours that you can take. So if you're an AP, a principal, the student who needs help, the parent of the student, or you just know somebody who needs the help. If you're in the Houston area, you can get in-person tutorials. But if you are not in Houston, there are also virtual options offered as well. So hit me up at my email, theprodigyperspective@gmail.com and or psathepodcast.com, and we will hook you up. Yo, what's going on today on this beautiful thirsty Thursday? It is another week, another episode, and completely solo. Haven't been solo since the As a Man series, and I wanted that on purpose. And also throwing it out there, we're gonna take a break next week from the pod, so we'll still be on the live stream, so you can check that out. Great episode today. This one I think is great because it is it's statistic based, a lot of statistics, a lot of research. But with that being said, it also is one of those episodes where it's gonna make you really look at a different perspective and able to help you with where you are in life now and help you to live in the now. Some of us get so caught up in the future. This is even a message for me. So although I'm talking to y'all, it's really like a video diary. I'm talking to me too. So let's get into that. All right. So today's episode, the meme reads, "You worried about something that won't even happen." Just sit on that for a minute. And I'm going to read it again. You worried about something that won't even happen. Inspiration comes from a post on puberty. It featured a YouTuber as the cover, and then it was like 85% of the things we worry about never happen. So we're going to get more into that as the episode goes along. The topics of fear and anxiety just in general. An article by Dr. John Joseph Gowie, a contributor, author of The End of Stress, 4 Steps to Rewire Your Brain. Excuse me. So that's another form of inspiration for this episode, and something that, like I said, I'm pretty excited to get into, because the thing is, I believe that we get caught up in what I want to say this, how I want to say this. We get caught up in what may happen and what may not happen. But the thing is, like I said, as the study has said, a lot of times stuff don't be happening like we think it's going to happen. And then I also want to pose, I'm not going to say that because I'm going to get too ahead of myself, and I'm trying to do that right now. So let's not get too ahead of myself, because I will. All right. So let's just jump into the next segment, which is happy hour. All right. So for today's happy hour, is one thing I want to talk about briefly, but it's something else I want to actually talk about in spite and not in spite of, but in what's the one I'm looking for? Under the fact, I can't talk. It's something I want to talk about in spirit of today being All Hallows Eve. But before we get into that, I want to speak on somebody. So I was watching something the other day. Can't remember what it was, but it triggered this conversation. Um, it it triggered this conversation. Um, so basically, we were talking about. I don't know if we were talking about. I don't think I was talking to nobody. I think I was just watching something. It was something I think like hoes or something. And I just thought about we live in a world where people like exposing people, and people get off to exposing people and putting people out there and what they did and all that. I'm gonna go there with that. Basically, I think about Kareen Steffens. Now, I'm not going to attack her, but if we just look at what she did, you go back in history, like '05, '06, around that time, when she dropped the book, Confessions of a Video Vixen. And in the video, she was basically outing everything she did with people and all this stuff. And one thing I will say is, I'm not going to ever tell nobody not to share their testimony, but when you're making a product or something to where you're trying to just out people and you got your little 15 minutes of fame, you know what I mean? But then after that, what happened to her? You hear her every so often. Not saying it'd be different if you told your testimony, which you could have did that without necessarily saying names, but you did that for the clout. Just what you did. You did it for the clout. And I'm not saying that just to attack her, but I'll say her kids. And when I say her kids, not her actual physical biological children, the kids of, when an artist or somebody does something and then people start to follow or like try to mimic that or redo what this person does. And we live in an age where people like enjoy trying to put people on blast for stuff that they did. And it's like, do you enjoy that? I think these people enjoy like putting people on blast and I'm gonna tell you what we did. And it's like, first of all, which I'm gonna get into that conversation later. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna speak on both sides. But what I'll say about that is I just feel as though it's not only is it unnecessary, but I just want people to do a heart check and check their motives. What are you getting out of this? Are you telling your testimony, or are you really just trying to embarrass somebody? And will it be worth it? Because if she would have just kept her mouth closed, she still probably could have been popping. Not necessarily she wants to be the video vixen that was sleeping with everybody, but it would have been, she wouldn't have been, now she talked too much and now nobody want to do nothing with her. So now they like, she wanted to be an actress. Can't act, put her enough that she talked too much. So you see what I'm saying? So if you are thinking about that, exposing somebody or putting somebody on blast, just ask yourself, what do you get from doing that? Because a lot of times we lie to ourselves and say we're trying to help others and all that, but that wasn't why. That wasn't why. All right, so that's a quick little conversation. Now I want to talk about something else today. So today, with it being Halloween, and I am an avid not celebrator of Halloween for many reasons. Um, Halloween has a weird smell. Has you ever been on Halloween? It's just like a smell. It's not just, it's like that haunted house smell, but that smell is everywhere where there's Halloween things. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I actually don't even like being out on Halloween no more. I used to love Halloween back in the day. Now I'm like, I don't like none of that. Like, it's just a lot. And, people will say, well, because people say it's demonic, and it is. And people will say, well, Christmas is pagan and all things is pagan. Here's the thing, though. You're right. Two things can be true at the same time. But with Halloween is literally a day for witches and Satanists. Like, they tell you that. This is common knowledge. You can look it up. I'm not a liar. You can look it up. But one thing I don't like celebrating Halloween, even just being a little putting me first. Bad things always seem to happen to me. So last year I was very adamant, like I need to get in the house. But on Halloween, like I need to get in the house. It's I need to get in the house. I was worried about, just like I didn't want to be out on Halloween. So I was in the house at a good time in the evening. And I remember I was like, I need to wash some clothes. Because sometimes I'll wash clothes in the middle of the night. In my little washroom, whatever. I never have nothing on me. So it's like if somebody was to come out and try to rob me or something, they'll be in for a rude awakening. But watch this. So something said that night, do not wash no clothes, do it in the morning. I listened to the small, still voice and I didn't wash. So then the next day or two, I go down to the office and I see a picture, or maybe it was in the laundry room. I can't remember. And I saw a picture of a man who robbed somebody in the laundromat on Halloween night. And I said that could have been me because he robbed them people. Now, I didn't have nothing on me, but then, sometimes criminals might get mad and stuff like that. And they might just get mad and just kill you or shoot you or something because they mad you ain't got nothing. So they robbed you for nothing, but you already seen them. So it's like, you know what I mean? So now I'm on y'all t-shirt because I wanted to go wash some clothes at night and I decided not to have nothing on me. Now I'm on the t-shirt and y'all saying RIP to me because I wanted to be out on Halloween night. Now that's one story. But there's other stories too. A bad stuff always seems to happen on Halloween, and I just gotta stay away from it. So that's why I don't even move around on Halloween, like at all. Like I don't do none of that. Like I'm not gonna necessarily I'm gonna lock myself in the house, but I definitely will be home by a reasonable time. But let me know, what's your Halloween stories? What didn't happen to you on Halloween, good or bad, that you remember? Now, of course, as kids, people trick or treating stuff. I never trick or treated, didn't really care to do it no way. So yeah, there's that. But I know some people that was like the highlight, one of their many childhood highlights. So you know, that's my take on that with the whole Halloween thing. And like I said, if you want to do that, cool. I mean, but just be aware of what's going on and that nasty smell. And like I said, I could have been gone because I went out there on the Halloween night. I could have been gone. I could have been gone. All right, y'all. So that's it with the little happy hour today. Just a little rant. Let's get into today's topic. And first of all, getting into the case study. Okay. So now I have an article we're going to go through today. And then I got a short video we're going to go through. So let me share my screen and let's get active with this article. Now, we're not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read some of it. And this comes from Psychology Today by Seth J. Gillian. And it says, how often do your worries actually come true? It says, so the first part says, you probably realize that you worry about what you worry about rarely comes true. Results from a recent study show just how unlikely most of our worries actually are. Researchers at Penn State University had participants write down their specific worries for 10 days. Whenever they noticed they were worrying, all participants had generalized anxiety disorder, which is characterized by pervasive and uncontrollable worry along with other symptoms, problem with concentration or sleep. 4 times a day, they were prompted by a text message to record any worries from the past 2 hours to ensure that as many worries were captured as possible. Study participants then reviewed their list of worries every evening over the next 30 days, see if any of them came true. The researcher focused on worries that could be tested in the 30-day period. For example, I will fail a math test tomorrow, will be testable, whereas I'll develop cancer at some point in my life will not. The average person reported 3 to 4 testable worries per day. The result, a whopping 91% of worries were false alarms. And of the 9 remaining of worries that did come true, the outcomes was better than expected, about a third of the time. For about 1 in 4 participants, exactly 0 of their worries materialized. Now, before we go on to the next part of this, I just want to stop back there and say this. This is the thing. Think about the stuff you be worried about. Like even with me, like I found myself having some I was overwhelmed with a bunch of work to do. And I'm like, bro, I gotta do all this work. And I'm like, not having heart palpitations, but I definitely like every time I think about it, I would kind of get irritated. Like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. A lot of the times the stuff be self-inflicted because we be procrastinating. We be putting stuff off to the last minute, then we go through it. Now you over here, then set up here something you could have, if you would have spread out and did like within a week, 2 or 3 parts of it a day, versus now you waited to the last 2 days. Now you got to do 8 to 9 parts of it a day, and you stressed out. A lot of that is self-imposed because you procrastinated, because you're lazy. Because you're lazy. That's on you. So you don't have nobody to blame but yourself. But a lot of times we get caught up in thinking like, oh, I got time, and we don't have time. I got that bad. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'll be like, oh, I got time, and boom, look at it. Start, and even before we get to like the suggestions, but I will say start adding hard stops to stuff. Like even today, like before I recorded this, I said I was gonna do some work because I'm gonna go run today. And I said I was going to do some work and I'm going to do a hard stop at 12. And I did my hard stop. Now I'm here with y'all recording this. Okay. It says, on the other hand, discovering that one's worries are based in reality is not surprisingly less helpful. The researchers know that the possibility of a double-edged sword suggests that if certain participants found that more of their worries actually do come true, treatment may be less powerful or even harmful. This was a relatively small study, 29 participants, all of whom were undergraduate students with generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. The majority, 90%, were female and most were white, 75%. It will be more important to see if these results replicate in a larger and more diverse sample. For now, it is reasonable to conclude that tracking one's worries can be an effective way to discover the accuracy and diminish the stress that comes with chronic worrying, provided that worries are not confirmed. This is a welcome finding, particularly for those individuals with generalized anxiety disorder. All right, so let's get back to it before we go to the next thing. So even with that, you see, the stuff we worry about not gonna happen. A lot of times it don't happen. It be in your head. And you just go with some one thought and then just jump on board with the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And now you're stressed out and just keep going. And also, what's the problem is you got to learn to start keeping stuff to yourself. A lot of times we be talking to people we think we can trust. I'm not saying that they untrustworthy. Some of y'all friends are. But what I'm saying is some people go on the overthinking train and now they stressed you out because they stressed out. And then it's just now y'all clashing. I've learned in this season, I keep a lot of things to myself, especially when it comes to my future and things I'm working on. Not because, oh, you might be a what's it called? You might be a monitoring spirit. Not even because of that, but because y'all be planting seeds of doubt and fear and stuff. And I don't have time for that. Because if I'm already barely struggling with it, trying to stay hopeful, and here you come with your stuff, now I'm over here stressed out. You didn't scared me into not want to do it or to add unnecessary worry to me. And like I said, if you ain't married to them, you need to limit what you say to them because you really don't have to say everything to somebody you're not married to. And I get people in relationships, and I'm more so not even talking about like those type of relationships. I'm just talking about mama relationship, daddy relationship, cousins, good friend, because people don't understand. And a lot of times they think they do, but I'm here to tell you they don't. Now, the next video we're going to watch is on Instagram. It's from my boy Derek, who was on my podcast last season around this time. And this video I thought was perfect, so we're never going to watch it, and then I'm going to dissect it.
The past or from the future. Think about it. A lot of you are stuck on mistakes, failures, heartache, heartbreak, things that you did. Nobody's perfect. Or on the flip side, your other stress is coming from the future. Fabricated what if scenarios. Derek, what if this happens? And if that happens, and maybe this happens. And will I end up alone? Will I die alone? Do I deserve love? Do I deserve success? And next thing you know, within 5 minutes, you feel like you're drowning in fake scenarios of the future of what if. When your mind says what if, I challenge you to ask yourself, what now? What now? Pause, breathe, and be present. There's a saying in psychology that goes, be where your feet are. It helps you to become present in the moment and to take control of what you can't control. Pause, breathe. What now? What can you do right now to take control of the situation so that way your mind is focused on solutions and not problems. Solutions and not problems. Your stress is either coming from the...
All right, good stuff. So I like that instead of what if, what now. Living in the moment. We got to really get to doing that. The thing is, it's some people I know where I would say with them, like I'm all about solutions. Like, what can we do to fix this? And I feel like some people, it's like that. A solution hate to see you coming because you're gonna always find a problem. And a lot of times people say people are problematic and people can be problematic. I do believe some people are problematic. And there are different ways to be problematic. But in the same breath, what about the people who look for a problem in everything? Let's talk about that, the problem finders. Because then my thing is, if you always can identify who's problematic, do you identify when you problematic? People tend to leave out when they problematic as well. And I'm a definitions person, and a lot of times they try to find loopholes and stuff. But them type of people that's draining after a while. That's difficult. Like they always trying to find a loophole or bye. And here's the thing: I don't want to say that we supposed to just cut everybody off, but there's people you need moments with. But back to the whole solution thing. And the what now? I really like that. I think it's perfect for this type of conversation. I think that we should be I mean, it's simple to say more present in the now. Um, I'm gonna just leave it at that because I don't want to overkill it. So let's go to the next segment, which is QT&A, and that is questions that need addressing. So let's ask some questions, and then hopefully they'll get answered during this episode. So the first question I have is: do you believe social media makes us fearful? Um, yes, I believe that in the media as well. Here's the thing, and this is how you know if you're guilty of something. You know how you're watching somebody put somebody on blast. Are you watching somebody's, 2024, Cat Williams said was the year of exposure. He prophesied that, and it has manifested by fire. And so when you see all these people getting exposed and put on blast and everything is coming to the light, you at home in the corner of your house gripping up and crawling up on yourself because now you nervous because you know you did some things you wasn't supposed to be doing. So now you think you next. And although some of y'all might be, and I hope it happens to some of y'all, no, I'm just playing. I hope it don't happen to some of y'all. But although some of the y'all might be happening to, a lot of times the stuff that you did do, I'm here to give you a little piece today. God done covered it. Now that don't mean keep doing it, because a lot of these people who were exposed, y'all have to understand they were getting warnings to stop for weeks, months, days, and even years for some cases, and they chose to keep going. Gotta let you get away with it for a while, but after a while, you're gonna say, all right, we need to go ahead and cut that out. Now it's up to you to listen. You ain't want to listen, so you let greed or whatever get in the way, you kept going. But let that be the sign, like you okay. Now don't do that no more. But you all right. The second one, do worries help or hinder you in daily life? Now, an episode you'll be seeing in the coming weeks, we talked about that. A lot of times people get caught up so much in what's, they did to me or what may happen and what might not happen, but you can't even live in a moment. I look back in my life, especially between the ages of like 9 to like 22, long time. And I remember just feeling like I never was able to live and enjoy the moment because I was always thinking about what was going to happen next. And so now I definitely, these last years, I've been doing good at living in the moment and just enjoying what's been going on and not getting caught up in what was did, what didn't do, what didn't happen. So that's something that, I try to keep up with, because your daily life is now hindered. The third question. So what if it does happen? What if it do? You gonna die? No. We're gonna get more into that later. And the final question: how often do you track your worries and their outcomes? Do you think seeing the results will change how you approach worrying in the future? I believe so. I actually don't track my worries, but when I get to my journaling, I'm gonna start like when I read and stuff, journal down like what did I worry about today, and then I want to come back and just kind of do it like that because I tend to reminisce and reread my old journal from time to time. Okay, so for this episode, we got two definitions. The first one is worry. It says give way to anxiety or ease. It says allow one's mind to dwell on difficulty or trouble. And I went ahead and defined paranoid. And it says unreasonably or obsessively anxious, suspicious, or mistrustful. So a lot of times people that got that they ain't living right. Keep that in mind too. Let's get into the next segment, which is what does this have to do with mental health? Now, according to Psychology Today, a study revealed that 91% of worries never come true. Researchers found that even when worries did come true, outcomes were better than expected a third of the time, showing that the worry is often misleading and contributes to unnecessary anxiety. So again, let's ask, what if it did happen? What if it does happen to you? What if they did you hypothetically, I know one I used to worry about that, I was worrying about when one of my older jobs, and I was like, well, what if I get in trouble? I think I might get in trouble. I think I'm about to get in trouble. I think I'm about to get in trouble. And I did get in trouble. So what if it did happen? It did happen. I did get in trouble and I was reprimanded or whatever. And I was like written up and, it was a constant reminder. They reminded me what was going on. But here's the thing about that situation, especially at this specific place, this specific school back in the day. they didn't like me no way. So it was like, even then, you had your good days. You know, them people didn't like you no way, and there was nothing you could do. So it was like, you should just really be expectant that someone's gonna look for a problem. And a lot of times they did, and they did the whole year. So, you know. All right, the second one. According to a study published in behavior therapy, participants with generalized anxieties or found that 85% of things they worried about never happened. The research highlights that the mental health impacts of chronic worry and how much our fears are unfounded. The study suggests that tracking worries can help reduce the intensity and improve overall mental well-being. You know, you over here having heart palpitation over something you worried about, or are you having heart palpitations because of that Celsius you was drinking, the energy drink? Now, let me tell you about that. So this is not a bash on energy drinks. I'm specific. I believe with energy drinks, though, we need to this point where we limit them. Like they're just like extreme cases, not all the time. You know, that you can look up your own research on that. But what I will say is with the whole Celsius thing, I've done a study recently with energy drinks, and I found out that when I have the energy drinks after I start to done working out or whatever, the energy still in my system. I start to, and it's like it flips a switch, and then I don't know why I thumped, but it turns on a switch, and it's like my anxiety just goes off, and I start worrying about stuff that I did years ago. I know what you did last summer, and all these things just start tripping. And I sit there like, and I've watched it to where days I don't do one, I've done it back to back. Like a day I do one and a day I don't. And I've noticed a big difference. I've noticed a big difference. I also had an energy drink one time in the spirit of the holidays, and it was called marshmallow something. I didn't mean to buy that one. I just grabbed it because it was cheap. And it was called marshmallow something. And then the drink tasted like Thanksgiving. Now you gonna say, that's a great description, correct? Because I guarantee if you taste it, you're gonna start drinking it, and it's gonna taste like Thanksgiving. It's gonna just put you in the mind for Thanksgiving. I don't know how they captured Thanksgiving in a can, but they need to put me on their marketing team because I would call that Thanksgiving special. That's what we would have called that drink. That Celsius would have been called Thanksgiving special. And then you would have drank it, and they would have put you in the mood for Thanksgiving. They really go ham with pushing during the holiday season. Sales go up. Hire me, Celsius. Hire me. All right. The third one says, according to a study from Penn State, when participants were asked to track their worries, research found that 90% of the things we worried about didn't come true, demonstrating that worry often exaggerates potential threats. This reinforces the negative impact of excessive worrying on mental health, leading to unnecessary stress. Now here's the thing. I just read 3 different studies, some different numbers, but 3 different studies all saying the same thing. So if nothing else, they say that stuff comes by repetition. So hopefully you hearing this multiple times really instills like, y'all, like I'm tripping over something that might not even happen. But like, but then you think, but is it, what if it does? So let's go into it. Let's go to the next segment, which is I challenge that. And we know we about to challenge some things. So what if it does happen? So what if you worried about something that will happen? You ain't paid your rent. You worried about I'm about to get a fine or they about to try to evict me. Damn right. They about to try to evict you. You didn't pay your rent. So you worry about something that will happen. See the difference? Or, say for instance, you was talking that manure, that crap on that social media, and you worried about if somebody gonna try and fight you the next day or the next time they see you. Yeah. Or if you talking cash money BS about somebody and then you worried about, I wonder if it's going to get back. And it did get back. Now you got beef with people because you was running your mouth. See, you worried about something that is going to happen. Or, worried about something, say, for instance, if you are in school again, or, you are in school again and you like, dang, I'm worried about this assignment that I didn't do. And you wonder how it's going to affect my grade and you got a 0. Or if you're like a mental health or wellness person and your LinkedIn content ain't looking too good and you worried about if I'm going to get the clients I'm looking for, or, you need some white papers done or some articles done that you haven't had done. it's some PR articles, and you may just need something to tighten up on, or somebody to do that for you, and it's lacking because you don't have it. A newsletter to push out to your clients, and you just don't have it, and you're not gonna get the results you wanted because you don't have it done. Of course, that's gonna happen, but it can be changed if you reach out to me, Izzy Baker, for your mental health and wellness content. If you need anything done as far as white papers, articles, if you're in the podcast and YouTube description, anything social media written for you, your LinkedIn is really important. If you need that, I know I got the recipe for it. If you need anything like that done, reach out to me and we can get something going with that. But let's continue. The next one I want to talk about is hanging with the wrong people. Now, we briefly talked about that earlier, but I was watching a TV show, and in the TV show, this man was hella paranoid, and the girl with him was trying to calm him down, but you could tell she was starting to get paranoid too. When that happened, so now that spirit jumping off from them to you, and now you sad, and now you worried, and now you anxious for no reason. I'm really big on watching who you keep around, especially that's why I said certain things you can't tell certain people. But people being extremely paranoid and fearful. And like I said, when it starts to jump on me, I got to get away from you, because now that's low vibrational. The only low vibrational thing I want this season is a plate. I don't want no low vibrational people. I don't want no low vibrational, attitudes, thought processes, none of that. Y'all can keep that. I spend enough time stressed and paranoid. And one thing I love to tell people, and I want y'all to adopt this: stop letting people stress you out. Tell people, audibly tell them, say, I don't let people stress me out. Say, you're not going to stress me out. Tell them that. Next time somebody do it, tell them that. Walk away. Don't keep engaging. Walk away. Watch what happens. The biggest thing I want to bring up today, honestly, is people doing stuff they know they're guilty of. Now, I tell you earlier, talking about people that's talking that you talking about people to get back, people hitting licks, scamming, doing illegal activity. It always comes to the light. And like I said, you seen that thing with HISD going on with them students. Well, not with the students, with them cheating them. What's it called? They were cheating certifications and stuff like that. Yeah, you did it to yourself. Phrase that comes to mind instantly I think about is tell the truth and shame the devil. Now, if you tell the truth, you do shame the devil, because the devil, as the Bible explicitly says, he's the accuser of the brethren. And he roams back and forth trying to accuse you of things, right? So you shame him, he can't shame you, because he's going to shame you with things that you did and things that hurt you, or things that, what you did in the past. And especially if you're living in and doing those things, he's going to try to shame you with it. But if you tell the truth, you ain't got to worry about that. If you, talk about, if you are doing illegal things or doing stuff, that's why you ain't had no rest. They say there's no rest for the wicked. So you doing these things, these illegal things, and some people don't have no moral compass. But like me, I can't do illegal stuff like that. Like, I'll be tripping. I'll be overthinking. I'll be on edge. It just wouldn't be good for me. And I've done some stuff, right? We all have. But I just, especially when people do things they don't want nobody knowing, they never at peace. They always think somebody talking about them. It's a lot. It's not worth it. Like I said, we've all done it. It's not worth it. Some people be cheating, don't get caught, and they love that rush. That ain't a rush to me. That's just, I can't. It ain't it. Watch this. There's an article called "How Jesus Addressed Fear, Worry, and Anxiety," and this is by Dr. Tim Alkin. It says, God created us as emotional people. Our emotions are given by God to put us into motion. For instance, anger is driven by a sense of injustice and desire to oppose something that we feel isn't fair or right. It says, in the same way, fear is a God-given emotion when our mind alerts us to danger, real or perceived. Anxiety is what we feel when our body is responding to the emotional worry. Worry is a thought process that mules over and gives power to the object of our fear. I said this before. I'm going back to this. I think about Batman and I think about Scarecrow. And remember with Scarecrow, he was able to create those hallucinogens that made it to where what you fear became some big old massive thing, and it really wasn't. Not in most cases, the stuff there wasn't even there. It was hallucinated. It was a hallucination and made it much bigger than it was. And you gave way to your fear, and the stuff that you worried about and fearful of not even gonna happen, and it's not even gonna happen. This situation I remember praying on, and I remember God he said it in a small, still voice. It was just like, it's not even gonna happen like you think it's gonna happen. And the way it was said was very calming and relaxing. Like, it's not gonna be how you think it's gonna be. It's gonna be very like, you ain't say all that, but that's what I got from it. And that's the thing too. If you think something going on, you think there's danger afoot, something going down that you think and believe in, it's a dangerous prayer. Pray, ask God to reveal it to you. And he will. It may not be when you want to, but a lot of times if you say, it's been times I didn't say, Lord, if something going on with this, I pray for a death. I did get death. I said within the next week or two, reveal it to me if something's going on with this, or something that I was worried about. And then the situation either during that period never revealed itself. It either did, or it was revealed that it was something else. And I'm like, you get what I'm saying? So keep that in mind too. All right, y'all, let's move to the final segment, which is the weekly sabbatical. All right. As we moving along today, let me got 2 verses for you. So first one is Philippians 4:6 through 7. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything be in prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ. So with that, I like the thing that says lean not to your own understanding, because when you lean into your own understanding, some of us got some good understandings. So let me speak to the people with the good understandings. You can't good at figuring out stuff in your natural mind. You good at putting 2 and 2 together and getting this down and understanding this. But let me tell you something. I'd rather have God's understanding, because there's some things that I ain't gonna understand. It don't make sense to me, but I'd rather his understanding overtake mine, because you can only do so much in your own power. Second verse, Matthew 6:25-27. Therefore I tell you, not worry about your life, what you eat or drink, about your body, what you will wear. It is not life more than the food in the body, and the body more than clothes. Look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than them? Can any one of you be worrying at a single hour? Can any one of you be by worrying at a single hour to your life? So that's something else to keep in mind. You ruining your life. You are ruining your life by worrying. It's not that deep. And it's just not that. It's just not that deep. And a lot of times we be overthinking stuff, and we create our own mental hell. And like I said, a lot of times, but I will add, which we haven't spoken on, we did a media. Do a cleanse. I learned that the energy drinks hyped up my anxiety. Well, not my anxiety. I don't take ownership of that, but it hyped up anxiety in me. Go on the cleanse of what you're watching, even if it's just for like 3 days. Maybe, matter of fact, I ain't gonna say 3 days. Give it a day. Some of y'all ain't got enough discipline, no way. Give it a day. Just say, I'm not gonna watch certain things for this whole day. See what happens. Watch what music you listening to. See what happens. Just test it out. See if you notice the difference, and write down what you notice. Then go back the next day and listen to do the same stuff regular and see what you noticed. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was watching some of those suspenseful shows. It wasn't even a horror film. It was like just a suspenseful drama TV show, and I found myself overthinking stuff that I do this. It was too much. It was a lot. It was a lot. So let's go back to the article from earlier. It says Jesus taught us to examine our fear and worry and anxieties as clues into who we worship or what we worship in any given moment. Tiffany Montgomery highlighted and said that worrying is worship to the devil. It says in conversations with Jesus, his questions often exposed the values and thinking that were caused by fear, anxiety, and worry. His goal was to never shame those who honestly sought him, but rather his questions were invitations to trust him as the creator and provider of all they truly needed. When he taught his disciples about fear, worry, and anxiety, he taught four key principles. The principles reveal how a wrong response to fear, worry, and anxiety can hinder our spiritual walk, and why we must take fear, worry, and anxiety serious as followers. It says, even though Jesus was full of compassion, his primary goal was not simply to eliminate physical discomfort that fear, worry, and anxiety bring into our lives. He taught us that our emotions reflect what is going on in our hearts, values, and thinking. If we're going to take our faith seriously, we need to listen to the clues that anxiety brings. So then that's something to keep in mind too, like as far as what are you worrying about? What are you thinking about? What triggered this? See, me with the whole energy thing, I'm acknowledging and being aware of the triggers. Now, I don't want you to be a slave to triggers too, but in the same breath to realize what is bringing this on. What am I watching? What am I thinking about? What has brought about this unnecessary thought process, this unnecessary fear? What came about? It then says it is possible to make the same choice to let go of worry and gradually move past worry altogether. You can rewire your brain to quiet the worry circuit. It just takes a decision and it takes a special kind of practice, but it gets simpler than you might imagine. It says, I present 20 proven tools and processes in my book, The End of Stress, that are neuroplastic in nature, meaning they represent change in mind that can rewire the brain to extinguish knee-jerk fear. It says, imagine you have a button at the center of your palm and press it and count to 3. Think of each number as a color. Breathe in, count 1, think red. Breathe in, count 2, think blue. Breathe in, count 3, think green. On the exhale, completely let go of any thinking for the moment. And that's some different practice you could do. Kind of know, I remember, shout out to Sheridan Ruth, who was on a few weeks ago and talked about like noticing what's in the room and looking around, noticing the color and trying to get your mind to focus on other things than what you're focusing on right now. That can help too. And like I said, because sometimes we get just so worried and anxious, and it's like, it's always a way out. So I have a few different tips that you can use starting today, some of which I kind of mentioned throughout, but stuff you can do to help you when you start to get anxious. And something, one of them I already gave away. It says limit exposure to negative media. Constant exposure to negative news on social media can heighten anxiety and worry. Research suggests that taking breaks from news and social media platforms can reduce stress and improve mental well-being. The Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that reducing social media use can lead to significant decreases in depression and loneliness. For young men, setting boundaries around digital consumption can limit unnecessary worry. The second one is create a support system. I really like this. It says having a solid network of friends, mentors, and family members to share concerns with reducing fears of isolation. The National Institute of Mental Health emphasized the importance of social connections and alleviating anxiety and stress. Reaching out to support system during difficult times help refrain worries and offer emotional reassurance. The one is physical exercise. We don't have to go into that one, but this other one I'm going to go into. It says focus on problem solving instead of ruminating. It says instead of dwelling on worst case scenarios, it's helpful to shift toward problem solving. This approach helps to reduce the power of anxiety by taking actionable steps. Psychology today suggests that writing down worries, identifying specific issues, creating small manageable action plans can help alleviate stress. So yeah, again, write it down. Get to the root of it. Like I said, a lot of the things we worried about not going to even happen. And a lot of times, as you see, we need to worry about a solution. So what can you do to fix it? Your rent ain't paid, pay your rent. If you need to go get a loan, get a loan. So if you can borrow some money from somebody, if you got a credit card, do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that. Keep in mind. Like I said, if you hang with people that live life on the edge, leave them alone. I had a homeboy years ago I had to cut off because he came to my house. Okay, so let me tell you a story. So he was like a robber. He was like, he stayed in and out of jail. So I had a brunch some years ago. He comes to my house, and he was just like, yeah, after he had hit a lick and ran to my house and was like, yeah, we just hit a lick and robbed this dude and we gave him some fake shoes and we took the money and this and ran off and came to my house. I said, really? Yeah. Real cool dude. That was the last day I ever hung out with him. Because at this point, you're problematic. At this point, you're full of drama. At this point, you tripping because you did bring that to my house. And what if the dude would have just magically found you and you in my house? Now I'm an accomplice to you robbing him. Also, final story I'm gonna end up with. Now, I've told this story before many years ago, and I'm telling it again because I got a lot of new followers now. So I've actually witnessed this all in my apartment complex. Now, this was more so back now. The one thing happened last year with the Halloween, but the other two things happened like many years ago. So one night it was New Year's Eve, and we came back from some event, drunker than the skunk, and I wanted to wash some clothes. So I go to put some money on the wash card. I see somebody buy the wash card, and I walk up on him like an idiot. And the dude had a ski mask on and a crowbar, and he digging in there trying to get the money out. And I'm like, so I walk up because if you start acting crazy, you know they act crazy back. So I walk up on him and I was like, dang, I was just gonna put some money on here. He said, man, I'm sorry, dog. He said, if you would have came sooner, I would have went ahead and I would have let you put the money on it. I said, dang, it's cool. He said, man, don't even call the laws on me, bro. I said, hey, man, look, at this point, they gonna you not gonna. I basically what I said. I said something like, at this point, even if I did, what they gonna do? He was like, yeah. I said, well, yeah, just to be wise, best to get out of here soon because you know. He's like, yeah, nah. I said, all right. So I walked back to my house, and as soon as I got to that corner, I took off because I ain't know what he was gonna do. I didn't know if he was gonna hit me with a crowbar. Maybe he thought I was lying. I didn't know if he thought maybe you got something on you. Let me take you. So I just took off once I got around the corner. True story. Question and challenge for the week. Now, we done heard this a million times, but let's do it. We ain't got 30 days, but you got 7. Track down your words for the next 7 days. And at the end of each day, note which one came true, where the outcome's better than expected, and share it to see how much worry serves you. All right, y'all. So there it is. That's all we got for today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, no episode next week. But we'll be back the week after. We will be on the live stream. If you are celebrating Halloween, please be safe because the freaks come out at night and then they looking for blood sacrifices, and I don't want you to get sacrificed. All right, so that's all I got. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real.